Tourism Minister Alan Chasney says the government will cautiously utilize the island's resources. He's responding to recent concerns expressed by the National Trust. Last week, Executive Director Bishnu Tulsi said too many of the island's heritage sites and beaches have been earmarked for development. Furthermore, despite securing funds to refurbish the Maria Island Interpretation Center at Sandy Beach in Vieux Fort, the National Trust had been denied access to the beach. Tulsi argued the beach was the ideal spot for the site and labeled a travesty the continued use of beachfront property for tourism development. The tourism minister says the trust should turn its attention to resources under its care.
For an organization that has as many assets as they do, and as for little money as they bring to the table and are still dependent on a government subvention, I think that they maybe should concentrate more heavily on those areas and leave the policy of development to the government. The Prime Minister has a very clear idea how he wants to be able to proceed. These are things that are discussed at a policy level in the Cabinet, and I can tell you that there's no one more protective of St. Lucian's rights and access to beach. That's obviously of a great concern, but that must also at the same time be balanced out with regard to the development needs of the country.
Tulsi argues because of climate change, it is unsafe to build in close proximity to the shore. He says the island is not only selling its patrimony, but is also putting lives at risk. Tulsi called for policymakers to invest in developments that do not adversely affect the integrity of the Queen's Chain and the natural heritage of the island.
We believe that tourism development can take place. It does not have to be on the beach. Given sea level rise, it should not be on the beaches. But there should be appropriate setbacks. The Queen's Chain and the beach area should be left undeveloped. Hotels could be placed behind those areas so that everyone still has access to the sea.
But Chasney contends there are many undeveloped areas on the island which can be upgraded for the greater use of both locals and visitors. The tourism minister says the National Trust is in no position to criticize since they charge admission into the Pigeon Island Park.
There are a lot of undeveloped areas in St. Lucia. I think we have to make sure that as we develop, that we make sure that the areas are earmarked and that facilities are put in for the public's enjoyment of those beaches and even of parks, for that matter of fact. But I keep hearing these injections by the National Trust. I'm not so sure that they're the best people to make that claims. I mean, particularly when you see that the only beach that has a wall around it is the Pigeon Island Beach. And in fact, a public beach on the park, which people have to pay money to go to the beach. So, I think they need to really sit down and take mirror to themselves.
But Tulsi says the $5 fee is spent on maintaining the park and the work of the National Trust in protecting the island's natural heritage. Lovely St. Amy, HTS News, Channel 4.